What is up, guys, and welcome to Week 10 Power Rankings. Once again, I am joined with Milan.
Hey, how are you guys doing? I'm joined with Ian, and yeah, as always, we provide you guys with the rankings, and let's rank right in. Uh, just a couple places in the rankings. They are pretty boring at this point because we have the London Loudreds at the 14th spot. To me, so once you replace a coach, you automatically are placed at the bottom because we haven't seen anything from you. Nothing personal to Thunderbread, but yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
we'll be
these are
looking
at least
forward to see
coaches.
him. Yeah, exactly. And basically the same thing for Cody at place number 14 because he was part of a forfeit. It's not his fault because Susie actually stepped down. That's why Thunderbread is in the league right now. But yeah, we still haven't seen anything from Cody, so that's why he is at place number 13. I think that's fair, right?
Yeah, I agree. He does have that extra win going for him, but still hasn't played any
Yeah.
games. So we'll jump
Exactly.
into the actual rankings now, where we've got things to talk about and stuff. Number 12, we have Ferret. He lost again this week. Um, you know, isn't gonna help you in the power rankings, even though you moved up. It's like not real. Um, it was a pretty close game up against Brad, I'd say. Despite struggling a lot with Nita Queen, just with his team, it was difficult to break Pokemon and difficult to swap into. He was able to do a good job of bringing it quite close, almost sweeping with that Celesteela. So he does have those few moments where he really shines, but it just never seems to be enough to get him the win, sadly. So he's going to keep on ending up at the bottom of the rankings if he keeps this up.
Yeah, basically the same story. He did indeed lose again, which is pretty unfortunate. However, he played versus Anderson, Brad Anderson, and we all know Brad Anderson is like a big threat. And to make it that close versus Brad, still pretty impressive, I have to say. What I also liked is that he indeed preserved his win con to the end. Like when you have these bottom teams, they struggle a little bit with how they want to finish off the game strong, and I think Farah did a very good job with the Celesteela in the end, but yeah, Kliss was there to stop it, and yeah, unfortunately had to take an L, and yeah, that's why you're at the 12th spot right now. At place number 11, we both have the Seattle Tokunomarus with Nami Bread, the original bread, just Jalmer, and boy oh boy, what a game was this. Brett was pretty fortunate with the early game freeze on like Yelmer's biggest threat. So that was definitely fortunate for him. Then the game continued for a little bit, but Yelmer played a little bit aggressive, and that definitely paid off. He was able to catch him on a couple of doubles, which was nice. Thing I didn't understand on Brett's part was the Rotom was clearly scarfed, and then you're allowed to take Blaziken damage for basically no reason, even though Gliscor just walled it. But yeah, that are just minor mistakes. I think Brett is out already of playoff contention, so he's just gonna have fun with his team probably. So, but yeah, that was it on my part. What do you have to say about it, Ian?
Yeah, Brett is indeed eliminated, unfortunately. But yeah, I agree. He played it fairly close, but realistically, the main reason why it even ended up that close was because of the fairly early game freeze. Even though in the end he probably would have won without that crit, he wouldn't have been in that situation without the freeze. So it just kind of showcased how bad of a game Pokemon really is. But other than that, he played the game fairly well. It just continues to not be enough, and that seems to be the theme for the lower down coaches. Unlike Ferret, he didn't really do that good job of preserving his win con, like you said, as well. So that was probably the biggest issue with how he played that game. But just try to bounce back in the consolation bracket or something, have some fun, and yeah, good luck maybe next season. But at number 10, we both have TJ, who is currently 3-7 as well, if I'm not mistaken.
It's hard to see because at the moment we are recording this, like we're like ahead a couple of weeks, but that's okay.
Yeah, so he is 3-7, which I am positive is not the aspirations he thought he would have. I believe he is also eliminated from playoffs now. So that's just rough. No, he's 4-6. Never mind. I'm sorry. He is not eliminated from playoffs, but he's very close. And I feel like currently he's the bottom playoff team. Even though his differential is the best of the 4-6 teams, he just hasn't been able to claw anything back from this season. Shadow had that early season momentum, and now he's dropping off a bit, but he still had that good streak going. And obviously, Brad is also replacing coach and is now showcasing his skills as a coach. So yeah, he just has the least going for him right now out of the 4-6 teams. So yeah, it's not looking great for his playoff chances right now. He would need a win out, and then he would need some other things to go his way as well. So yeah, definitely a bleak situation for him.
Oh, TJ played versus Hutch this week, which is one of the top coaches as of right now. So definitely to be expected to have it a hard match for TJ. But yeah, there were some key points in the battle where I really understand what TJ was doing. The biggest thing was, in my opinion, the Reggie steal. Like Reggie steal walled a lot of the members Hutch brought, and you basically threw it away for the Rotom Heat. Not really sure if I like that. In the end, it came pretty close with the CGI and Mega Galate, obviously, but not enough. And Hutch played it in a very offensive way, and you were forced in a very defensive position almost the entire game, which was pretty unfortunate. And like Ian covered, as of right now, you haven't really accomplished anything in this season other than that you are the defending champion. That's still something nobody can take from you. But yeah, we definitely hoped, and I think you did as well. We hope to see you do a bit better. Maybe the last couple of weeks you can shake things up a little bit for the higher teams you play. But as of right now, it's not looking too good for you. Place number 9, we both have Shadow. And why don't you go ahead and tell us about Shadow?
Shadow's doing the same thing that he did last season, where he shows a lot of promise and makes a really good run early season, and then with all this pressure on him and the pressure to succeed and finally makes playoffs, he starts to crumble. And we're starting to see that now. He is on a 3-game losing streak, dropping down to a 4-6 record as well, after losing to TCP, which isn't a loss that you can really knock him on too much. It was very close. But you're seeing that he has lost all of the momentum that he had at the start of the season. It's just crumbling apart for him. So yeah, realistically, if he can't make a really major swing right now, he's not gonna make it, because he also needs other coaches that are above him to fail as well. This is really make or break time for him. And yeah, it's just not looking good, unfortunately, with this lack of momentum, especially with the poor differential.
That's basically true. Shadow face off versus TCP. Didn't do too bad, to be honest, but he definitely put himself in the back already from turn 1, not scouting for Scarf Darmanitan. Basically, he threw away his Zeraora turn 1, which was questionable, even though you knew you had Rocky Helmet Tritigun in the back for the situation, but you just didn't anticipate to it. Other than that, I think you did fairly well versus TCP, but yeah, of course, TCP is the undefeated king as of right now, and it's very hard to beat him. It's just very hard to beat him. and that definitely showed in this match. Darmanitan cleaning up in the late game, and yeah, that was basically it. Yeah, you'll do very well. I think in the last couple of weeks that final sprint you have to make to of a spot for players because you're not out just yet. If I think so, but yeah, we'll have to see how that goes next week. Have St. Louis Samurott with Brett Anderson. And he faced off versus who did he face off again? Versus Ferret, right? Yeah, he faced off versus Ferret. And yeah, that was a pretty cool game. What I definitely liked in this game is that even though you were in control full game, it was still pretty intense. There were some moments where Ferret was trying to make a comeback, but your signature Pokemon definitely prevented it from happening. And in the end, Reuniclus cleaned up very nicely. So that was cool to see. To see you do a lot of other wins in the last couple of weeks because I think you are a very strong consolation bracket. I'm not really sure if you're still able or likely to make it into playoffs, but in consolation bracket, you're definitely going to do very well. But that's what I think. What is your take on it, Ian?
Yeah, Brad's definitely shaking off the rust a lot this week, and he definitely showed it this week. Even though it did look close, he did such a great job of taking the safest path to victory to just make sure he was willing to stack things to like lose differential, even though he is behind in differential, to ensure that he does get the win. Which is really admirable, really solid play all around. And yeah, like you said, he's going to be a very big threat in the consolation bracket. He is still technically in the playoff race, but with a 4-6 record, he's kind of relying on the people above him to fail out rather than actually his own skill levels. So, even winning out won't necessarily get him in. Um, but realistically, he joined back in to play for fun and to see what he can do next season. I don't think he's putting in a lot of stock this season. So yeah, just good luck to you for the rest of the season and the rest of your career. But next up, we have Vish, who's definitely on a turnaround, 3-game win streak now, I believe. And is now at a 5-5 record. I believe he is the lowest record who still actually does have a solid chance of making it into playoffs. He is only 1 game behind right now, so assuming he can win out and the coaches above him lose a game, then he can still make it, which is just a huge turnaround from what was before, ranked the number 13 seed in the league on a terrible losing streak before. He's definitely showing what he's capable of, clawing back games even though he was hacked early in. Just making sure that he kept his win cons around, chipped away at the opposing team effectively, and just made the sacks when he needed to make the sacks. So just really solid play overall.
I'm super proud of Jelmer. He basically did the same thing what I did in season 2 after 3 really devastating losses. It looked very grim, but he definitely turned it around. He's stepping up his game, made some transactions, and he's doing very well right now. This week he faced off versus Brad. It's a very unfortunate freeze on his main signature Pokemon, which was very upsetting for him. But that didn't. He wasn't out of the game. He definitely kept his mentality for the win, and it showed. Definitely, the Zygarde in the end pulled through for him. It was on a lucky crit, but yeah, I mean, a freeze earlier, he wouldn't have been in the position. It was just very weird. It was just overall pretty taxi annoying game in that sense, but still very good on Vicious part to throw in the towel and just fight till the end and get rewarded for it. And you are very close to making it into playoffs. You're not too far away differential wise, just a couple of wins away. So just keep out winning, and then you'll probably make it. So we're going to the playoff teams, and as before, We were pretty boring. I know we had the same people at the same spot, but now we actually have a difference. Number 6, you have Chicago Congelders, and I have St. Louis Swablues. Well, the funny thing is they faced off versus each other, and Malone did end up getting the win. Makes him a very strong coach as of right now. He has a very little win streak going on, which is very nice to see. Definitely like Malone stepping up his game. I still put Dave over him, even though Dave lost versus Malone. It is because we did have a lot of wins this season. Don't really agree with a lot of plays, a lot of prep mistakes, and overall they have been a bit shaky, in my opinion. This week you did win for sure. You did it very well, but also the matchup was pretty poorly. So like, don't really want to take anything away from you, but I'm still not super convinced in a way. But yeah, that's just my take on it. En, why do you explain why you have Chicago Congelders at number 6?
The main thing really is the fact that Dave is on a 3-game losing streak, which is just not a good look for you. Starting to lose confidence. Definitely that momentum thing, even if it's not like really a complete thing, it's definitely gonna be something that's affecting your mentality. After losing 3 games in a row, you're probably not really feeling the most confident in your play. And even though this matchup was absolutely horrendous and you really didn't have anything to deal with any of Malone's Pokemon, you still lost, and you still lost the 2 games before. So still definitely my pick to be in playoffs, especially with the very solid differential. I don't think he's going to fall down. And honestly, I could see Malone being a little bit more likely to fall down. But I did want to reward Malone for just this absolutely insane streak he's got going on right now. He's improved so much, and it's really showed with how he played that game. Aside from the Kartana things, but we won't talk about how Malone plays Kartana anymore. It's hard to rag on him for his Kartana play when he's just doing so well right now. Just really solid prep and play overall. So yeah, good stuff, Malone. And hopefully, Dave, you can bounce back.
Okay, I'll just cover why you have Dave at number 5. Yeah, of course you lost, which was pretty unfortunate, but you have pretty gifted differential at this point. You're very, very high, very unlikely to lose out differential wise if it comes down to making players or not. You're overall just still a super solid coach, super solid team as well, but this week your team didn't match up well versus Malone. And I know you are on a losing win streak, but you're still our daddy, man. So come on, like daddy, come on, put in a lot more effort. I think the mentality is getting to you, but you just need to chill, relax, and then start off fresh with a clear mind, and then a lot better the upcoming weeks. But yeah. At number 4, we are boring again. We have an agreement. We have the Jersey Justice, and boy, oh boy, I don't know what I was doing this week, but I was definitely not. It was a very weak performance on my end. I absolutely got body bagged. It was horrendous. In the end, I tried to basically get a bit more differential because I really wasn't satisfied going out with an 0.5. But yeah, I had to take it. The plan didn't go. What the reason was is I know En is pretty likely to make playoffs, and I definitely wanted to win, but I didn't want to give away a very obvious way of playing. So I went with a stint or try team with screen setup. Definitely misplayed it a lot, which was very dumb on my part, but did a lot. And also brought very good counter sets versus them. So yeah, can't be too upset, but definitely lost my second spot overall and lost to number 4. But yeah, Why do you have me at number 4, Ian?
Um, well, because you suck, dude. That's the no.
Yeah, yeah,
It was a rough loss for sure. And that game went to some really dark places at the end. There, it was really sad, honestly. Just a depressing way to end such a game. But yeah, I do get the sense that he didn't really. Well, I shouldn't talk about you in third person when you're in the call. You didn't really look like you tested that team much. You didn't really look like you had an idea of how you really wanted to play the team. You just kind of
that's
thought that
true.
some
That's true.
dual screens offense would be able to catch me off guard. And it probably would have been able to catch me off guard if you just preserved your Garchomp until you had set up screens. But yeah, just the way that you ended up playing the team just didn't fit how the team was built, and it really cost you big. But you still are 7-3, pretty much a lock for the playoffs. Even if you lose out, you're probably still good. All the teams above are 7-3 except for TCP. And all of these teams are pretty much locked. Highly unlikely that any of them will drop at this point. It's just that from that performance, you look like the weakest of those teams at this exact moment in time. But it's so volatile right now that could change at any moment. But at number 3, we both have Hutch, who's been amassing a quiet performance recently. He's on a 5-game win streak, which kind of has 4-game win streak. Sorry, which is kind of gone a bit under the rug considering how many different storylines we already have going on right now. Just kind of forgot that Hutch was there doing it big, as he always does. It's just that he is so consistent at the game. He's got really solid differential as well to back it up. And he's just been performing really well so far. The only real reason why he isn't at the number 2 spot is that differential. These teams are basically ordered in differential at this point. So yeah, outside of that, he's just been doing fantastically, and I don't really have all that much more to say about it.
Yeah, well, kind of agree. Hutchis has been he has been strong, but also unnoticed at the same time. So like he is definitely that dark horse right now, slaughtering everyone and doing very well. He has performed overall very consistent. He had the win streak, but I didn't really notice like how big it actually was. So like I noticed he kept winning, but I wasn't aware it is a five win streak already. So that's pretty impressive. Strong performance versus TJ, defending champion. Even though it's not his strongest season, it's still the defending champion you took down. So like, congrats, Hutch. Very, very, very impressed by your performance this season. The number 2 and 1 spots. En is definitely happy to have his second spot back. He is in the buy seat as of right now. So like he's sitting comfortable. But just you wait, man. Just you wait. We're coming for that spot. Super
Yeah,
close right now with the 7-3, 7-4, 7-3, something like that.
7-3.
We're all very close.
It's week
And
10.
yeah, you're right. Sorry. Anything can happen right now. Like even
Yeah.
TCP can also lose his undefeated streak. It's just we're so close to the end and the race is super tight. Yeah,
TCP could hypothetically lose his bye if he lost out right now.
definitely good. It's ASL. Anything can happen. But yeah, back to you. You definitely destroyed me this week, and yeah, you are right. You're right. Can't deny that. You definitely had the upper hand in that matchup. But I'll see you in playoffs hopefully. So
Yeah, we'll
number
have to
2.
we'll have to play in finals for sure. But yeah, I think you already covered it, and I think I already covered it just by saying that my differential is at the best of all of the coaches right now, other than TCP, of course, who's just 10-0 right now. You know, he's doing what I did in season 4, except this time the rest of his schedule is much easier. So it's looking really good for him right now to get that undefeated season. Um, there's definitely 2 camps to this: the people who really want to see it and the people who really do not want to see it. I'm not going to say which camp I'm in, but He's been doing really well. He's definitely improved a lot this season compared to last season, where he was already quite a solid player. So yeah, just really good stuff so far, and good win on Shadow, I guess.
TCP looking like he definitely is going to make it this year with this season with the undefeated run. But yeah, we can't give it to him until he actually receives it. So like it's the ASL, everything can happen still. Like cups or whatever, it's still you definitely want to not underestimate anyone in this league. And he hasn't been doing that, but it can definitely cost him his undefeated season. But yeah, overall, very likely that he is claims players, but I meant he is in a round bye. I think he only needs one more win or two. Not really sure, but yeah, TCP really looking clean right now. Still undefeated, still the best of us all at this point. At the end, do you have anything else to add?
Nope. Just make sure to subscribe, follow Twitter, check out all of the ASL YouTubers' channels. That's in the channel description. And stay tuned for next week.
Yeah, see you next week, guys. See ya.
Bye.